To enable the mirrored fingers again, I need to select them all and then alt-click on the modifier visibility icon. And let's save our progress. I think that's a good base for the hands to start experimenting with some displacement maps. So add a displace modifier. Don't worry about how it looks, let's add a texture. We can lower the strength of the displacement. Add an empty. This will allow us to control the displacement, rotation, location, and scale. I will move it near the hand and reduce its size. Set the displacement coordinate to object and pick the empty. Now we can play with the empty to change the displacement. You can try some 90-degree rotations along different axes. The strength is still too high. By rotating the empty, we can align the shapes of the displacement better with the angle of the hand. By moving the empty, we get different parts of the displacement texture. It's fun to search for the most fitting part of the displacement map. I tend to get carried away with this. Copy the modifiers from the hand to one of the thumb parts. Adjust the strength as necessary. Apply the displace modifier on the hand. I'll set it to shade smooth to make it look better without additional subdivisions. Use the same empty to find some interesting displacement on the thumb part. And then copy the modifiers to the next object. Apply the displace modifier on the previous object. We'll repeat these steps to add displacement to the other objects that make up the hand. My plan was to only have to work on one finger and have the linked duplicates automatically be the same. However, I discovered that linked duplicates can have their own modifiers and don't take the modifiers from the original copy. So I experimented with using the same texture on all the fingers at once. That didn't look good, so I removed the modifiers again. So you can in fact adjust the geometry of the linked duplicates all at once, but it doesn't work with modifiers, unfortunately. So I'll just do each finger object individually and then duplicate them again later. Using the same texture across the three parts of the finger does seem to work well enough. As long as we can find a fitting part of the texture. I'm not really finding anything useful in this texture, so I will load a different one. Click on the number next to the texture name to make it a duplicate, and then load a different texture. Copy the modifier from that part of the finger to the other parts to update them on the new texture. The empty has gotten lost all the way over here, so let's move it closer to the hand. Let's see if we can find a better looking displacement with this texture. This looks interesting. Looks okay from all angles. Not perfect, but it has potential and we can erase the parts that we don't like. Of course, copying the modifier to the other fingers won't give us the same displacement on the other fingers. So let's undo that. In fact, the best solution is to just delete these fingers and duplicate the one with the displacement. Now that they are no longer linked duplicates but single users, we can apply the displace modifiers. I'm not sure why I decided to apply the mirror modifiers as well. That's a mistake. It would have been better to keep them. Now we can make linked duplicates again with Alt-D. It seems the original fingers were smaller, as now the hand is too small to accommodate all of them. In sculpt mode, we can adjust the hand shape so that it fits with all the new fingers. The snake hook brush makes this easy. Since these are linked duplicates, we can sculpt on just one finger to also affect all its linked duplicates. Using smooth and the clay strips brush, I'll quickly fix some of these weird bits. We can also use the scrape brush to bevel the finger somewhat. The scrape brush also helps to make it look a bit more mechanical and less organic and lumpy. I guess this robot has some kind of fingernails. Maybe it's some kind of sensor?